Hello, business strategies class. This is module 2, week 2. I thought I'd go ahead and give you a short introduction video to the material that I want you to be familiar with for this one. So try to give you just kind of a short overview of our chapter and go from there. So let me go ahead and kind of pull up what we have going on. The first thing I'm going to look at is the slides. Well, actually, before that, let's pull up our class material and kind of dive a little bit into what we have here. One thing I have done is I've added these PowerPoint slides to the modules so you can see them there, and they should be available throughout. Okay. On our announcements page, I haven't put that in the change log, and if you remember, this is just an example of the things. Anytime I make a change in class, I'm going to put this. So I added PowerPoints from the text to each module 1 through 7. Updated on October 24, 2023. All right, so it's Tuesday, just kind of going over a little bit of the things that we want this week, right? I hope you get into a rhythm with what we have to do for assignments, for discussions. And again, modules are always the best place, I think, to look and see. This is the overview, our discussion quiz, business plan, case study. Okay, the resources we have to use include PowerPoint this week, and then the book, the textbook information that I have pulled up right here. So that being said, I think that this chapter is pretty essential, and so the reason why I like to go over this, especially via Zoom, is because this gives us a lot of there is a lot going on in our world right now, with the question, who is really in charge, who is driving the bus when it comes to corporations. And so I have even earmarked a couple articles from the Wall Street Journal that deal with the specific issues, the specific issue of stakeholder versus shareholder capitalism and who is in charge. And so the text has a little bit of a different spin on it. All right. And again, the idea here, as we discuss, is really it's the concept of corporate structure, right? Mission, governance, business ethics, and even that stakeholder concept. Okay. This says anyone is a stakeholder. And what I always say, though, is that stakeholders are pronouncedly different than shareholders, right? A shareholder is someone who owns is invested in a company stock, right? And when you buy an equity, really you're holding yourself to a definition of what is a security. And there's a test called a Howey test, right? Or you're saying this is someone who takes money, they invest their money into a common enterprise with expectation of gain, all from the efforts and work of others, right? So if I bought in shares of, say, the company of Pepsi, I'm not efforting. Only thing I'm doing is going out and buying the share. I'm enjoying the profits, the dividends, the company growth that comes from efforts of others. And that is someone who's very different than a stakeholder. Now, in general, yes, a shareholder will be a stakeholder in a company. As a matter of fact, they'll have voting rights and things like that, right? The stakeholders, in especially the last few years, have come to be known as something different. And a stakeholder is someone who is more concerned about the interest or the claim in what a company is or what it stands for, as opposed to profitability, right? And so here we'll see, right, we've got these different aspects of who is stakeholder and what is, it's talking about Obviously, you have a legal interest or a moral interest in a company, which as a stockholder you could have, but there's kind of been a little bit of a grafting between the two. All right, that asks the question, hey, who should be running the show? Should it be stakeholders, or should companies be listening to the stakeholders? Say a stakeholder comes in, they say, hey, listen, to continue the illustration with Pepsi, like we want you to do things in certain ways that are more beneficial for the environment than you have in the past. All of a sudden, that becomes a question that might go against shareholder value, right? Hey, we're going to do these things despite profitability. And so there is quite a bit of division there a lot of times, because the corporation now has to seek after which interests are we going to pursue. The unique stakeholders and the individuals in the corporation that want to see things moved in a certain direction, or are we going to seek after profit and profit motive? I'm not saying either one's bad. A lot of times I say seek after profit, students say, oh, well, that must be a negative, right? That's not necessarily the case, right? The goal of corporations are to find profitable solutions to the problems of both people and planet. And if they're not profitable, then at some point they will probably cease to exist. And so then therefore the stakeholder objective will also die. I would equate that corporation idea to the idea that you guys, of you going to work, right? Very few of you would go to work on a daily basis without a profit motive. And that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You need to earn money to provide for your needs and the needs of your loved ones. And there's nothing selfish about that. In the same way, a corporation should be able to be profit driven and not feel bad about it, because those profits ultimately are there to find, or they should be there to find solutions to problems in our world, right? Problems that exist for both individuals and people, and problems that exist in our planet. Now, some corporations operate outside those parameters, but that is kind of in a nutshell, corporate, what is capitalism? It's those things, right? So understand that, and just as you read through the chapter and you start working on this material, consider that be framed within this idea, right? Again, you've got this grift here. Again, I would say a stockholder has a different type of emphasis than a stakeholder, but nonetheless, you see the idea there: external stakeholders versus internals. Okay. And then it delineates that as well. And the chapter does a pretty good job, okay, of going through the different aspects of it. Next, we get to the mission statement. I always like showing this, right? Who is being satisfied, what is being satisfied, how are customers' needs being satisfied, all of that wrapped within business definitions. And as you read through this, just understand that, hey, listen, you're going to be applying these things because you guys are creating a business as a big part of your grade in this class. And so as we look into the Module 2 business plan, we're going to take a little bit of time to work out what your fictional business mission statement would be, what your vision would be. And if you see the examples of these, they're really quick ones, right? Quick hitters. So like, let's just take the idea of IKEA, to create a better everyday life for the many people. A little lost in Swedish translation there, right? But you can see how you can be a little pie in the sky ideas with with your mission statements here. Visions are very similar, all right? And I try to make all these links fit what you're needing, but he talks a little bit about the difference between the two, right? Mission statement is more about purpose and core values, and vision statements are more about aspirations and goals. So a vision drives you forward, right? Look at the guy looking out, right? And that's the idea here. And so here we see a little bit of, like, take Tesla, for example. Tesla's on here. There we go. To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy is their mission statement. Their vision statement to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century, all right, by driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. So it's a little bit more particular, a little more specific, still very short though, right? So these things are great examples of how to figure out what corporations are by just going through your own ideas, okay? Create some goals and create some values that matter to you. And then answer this question, right? How do your mission statement, vision, goals, and values align with the purpose of a corporation? If the purpose of the corporation is to create profitable solutions to problems of people and planet. I like that definition. And so I love wrestling with that concept with students as we kind of talk about what is a corporation? What is it there for? Business strategies, right? We're talking about the central pillar to what we do in business. If we don't really understand what corporations are, how they're driven, if we don't understand what their purpose is, then how can we really understand all of the other aspects that are going to be wrapped into this this entire class? And so going back to the module, you'll see we get to be a little bit debating. In our case, I actually jump away from the text here. And I want you to read the articles, all right, and then answer the question, right? So there should be a PDF with some questions. Yeah. And then, sorry, PDF has the articles in it. And then the questions are rolled up in this, okay? So that being said, holler at me if you have any questions. I love it when you email me during the week, and I don't mind it when you text me during the weekend. So if you have questions, feel free to holler at me. I'm here to help you. And yeah, I think we're hopefully off to a very good start as you kind of get into a rhythm of things. The first week always hits us really quick because there's no break in fall break with the structure of these courses, these 8-week things. But yeah, looking forward to continuing with you guys, and let's get week 2 taken care of.